everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing wonderful and having a beautiful, blessed day. It is Friday, June 20th, and I just got back from Barnes & Noble. I'm sitting at the skate park. I have my shade for the windshield because there's not a whole lot of shade here, but there is a nice breeze, so it's decent, I should say. Not like the nice air-conditioned Barnes & Noble, but hey, what can we do? Enjoy God's beautiful creation, that's for sure. I did a clip where I talked about books. Now, I don't know if this will be its own video or if it might just go into that June Adventures Part 2. But this is the book that I got. This was, I'm not sure, yesterday, day before probably. I'm not even positive. Or did I get this today? Maybe I got it today. No, this one was, okay, this one I did get today. I got this, and I had a $5 rewards, so I didn't pay full price, which is really awesome. And I'm like 3 stamps away from my next $5 off. So I think it's every like $10 that you spend, you get $5. So I've been buying a lot of books. And I was, I don't even know what the word is. Like, it was hard for me to go out and buy stuff like that for myself. Like, I would buy craft things sometimes. I would, get stuff like that every once in a while. Most of the time, I would get stuff like that from the thrift store. Or if it was like on clearance or something like that. And that was like my go-to way of getting stuff. Even clothes and things like that. So I think I've talked about this before. In December, no, this was in November of last year, of 2024, I was awarded my disability. It had been like 10 years that I had been applying for it. There's various reasons for it, why I got it and everything. Things I'm trying to work on to hopefully heal my body. And one of my main problems is stress and worry, right? I've talked about that before. So I have an evaluation, of course, coming up in, I think this like 2 or 3 years. And I always have this worry, like, I'm going to lose it. Because I am actively trying to get healthy. Now, I don't think possibly, I'm not going to say it's not possible that in 3 years' time I will be, completely better. I don't know. But this was supposed to be the time for me to take care of me, to step back and take care of my health, my mind, body, spirit, my soul, just take time for that. And I haven't. This year, I say this year has been the first year that I've really put time into myself. And this is year number 47. And it has been so strange for me to take, money out of what I'm getting to do things that are for benefit me. So that's like acupuncture. And, we got, last year sometime during a sale, I got a tablet and I got $1 a month each or something like that for unlimited, data, right? But that's our TV, that's how we do things. Plus we do YouTube, both of us do. So I've not invested in much things for YouTube. Like, I still use my old phone. It's just like a Samsung. I'm not even sure what mine is. A53, maybe something like that. I've had this one now for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years like now in September, I think. That's what I used to film. That's what I used to film a lot of my husband's stuff. But these are all the things that, like, I'm like, oh no, I can't invest in that. No, I can't do that. No, I can't buy books. Like, okay, I used to buy books. I'm not saying I didn't, but it was all thrift store books. And half the time, they were things that I already read, or things that were more for informational purposes, more so than just for fun. And one thing about me is, since I was very young, I loved books and music, and those were like the ways that I processed things, the ways that I dealt with things that were bothering me, or, just dealing with the emotions of life and all of the stuff that comes with our growth as children, to teenagers, to young adults, to middle-aged adults, and of course, I've gone through my fair share of all the different types of genres of music, and, to where I'm at now. And I still love a lot of the stuff I used to like, but there are some that I just had to let go of because it wasn't good for me anymore. And books were always like partially it was my escape, and partially it was just something fun for me, something where I can get lost in this wonderful story or whatever, just I love a lot of mysteries and like thrillers to try to figure out what's happening. I know in the last clip, I don't know if that'll be in this video or not, but this is a chai with matcha cold foam. Of course, the matcha is already pretty much melted into everything, but it's really good. Ben tasted and he said it tastes like a pumpkin pie. I have to say it does. It kind of tastes like my pumpkin cookies that I make, and the pie, because of like that foam, that matcha foam, it kind of has that creamy taste to it too. I don't know what else they put in this. I don't know what kind of milk. Usually I think it's like they use either coconut or oat milk. I'm not even sure to tell you the truth, but it's really good. So I'm enjoying that. So for a long time, I stopped reading because, like I said, I would get books at thrift stores. I would go to the library, but when we moved out here, there was not a local library there. They do kind of have one now that I still have yet to go to and get a card for, but it's like a mobile. I think it's mobile, or they might have a building where they have some in there, if I'm not mistaken. They're open on Mondays and Tuesdays, so those are like my days of appointments. I'm hoping one of these weeks I can get there. But anyway, so I used to go to the library in my hometown, and I'd go through periods of like, I'm going to read all these books, and then I'd stop, and back and forth. And of course, a lot of that had to do with life, with work, with not feeling well. And also books did help me when I wasn't feeling well either. Like there was a lot of stuff. I remember when I first quit working, there was a lot of times I couldn't even get off the couch because I'd get so sick, so dizzy. So like, it was very strange, whatever was going on. They were still not completely sure if it was just like stress related. Because my A1C at that time was in the 6s and 7s. It wasn't like were so bad that should have been causing it. It didn't actually get up into the 9s until the end of 2022, early 2023. So that was like a little after my mom had passed away. So I think that was part of that whole thing. But anyway, so there was a lot of speculation as to what was going on, but we still don't know for sure. So that's one thing. I do have a neurologist appointment again on the 26th. This is a new place here in Santa Fe. I was going to Albuquerque, but it's a lot farther for me to get out there. And I was trying to get everything as close to Santa Fe as I could, or Las Vegas, because those are a lot easier for me to get to. But because of that whole situation, I was saying about reading. So when I first quit work, like I said, books were like my like my comfort too. So I would go with Ben because he would deliver the newspaper where we both had worked, because I worked there in the office. He would deliver out to Mora, which is a town like 30 or so minutes from our hometown where we were working at the time. And I would take books with me to read to him. At that time, I think I was reading Harry Potter, I think. And I love accents, right? So I would read to him on the way over there in like a British accent as best as I could, and I had a lot of fun with that. And then I would just read random books. I'd read the Bible to him, and he'd read to me at home or whatever. We'd take turns doing that. So that was a lot of fun. And then when we moved out here, I still had a lot of books, but most of the time I was doing like books that were health related, or books that were like faith-based books that were kind of like devotionals, Bible study type books, which are really good, and I really enjoyed a lot of them. But it was more like just homework. So like, of course, my go-to read or something to read is the Bible. I love reading that. I want to start reading again. So it'll be 6 years that we moved to where we're at now, in this September 29th. And in that time, I know part of why God brought us to this place where we're at is because I needed to slow down. I needed to heal. I needed to begin this healing journey the right way. I didn't do it right. I still jumped into everything that I could to do everything for everyone else, which is not a bad thing. It's just that I was overdoing it, and I was ignoring those signals from my body saying, hey, slow down, hey, stop, hey, whatever. And after my mom passed away, it really hit me like, this is, she was only 64. Yeah, she would have been 67 this year. No, yes, because we're about 20 years apart. She had me when she was 19 and turned 20 a few months after I was born. So, she was young, and her brother that passed away right after her a few months later was 63. So, and it's a wake-up call, right? And of course, all the grief, all of the stress and everything that came with that caused a lot of things in my body to begin to freak out. With, all of a sudden I have an autoimmune disease that I like never would have thought. All of a sudden I'm dealing with even worsening fatigue than I had ever had before. And I've dealt with some before that was pretty bad, but this has been really, really hard, and I don't want to stop doing things. But for a while there, I didn't want to do anything. I wouldn't really leave the house, and COVID made it really easy to stay home. And it gave me the excuse to just sit in my anxiety, sit in the depression, sit in the I can't do anything because my body hurts too much. I'm too tired. I'm sick. I'm dizzy. I have constant headaches every day. I'm just not feeling well. And I noticed that my body was starting to react to that in ways that I didn't even realize, of course, as we get older, things do change in our bodies. And for us women, a lot of our hormonal changes, granted, we have hormone changes our whole life. I mean, every month we have like ups and downs, right, with our cycles. But this was, I guess, perimenopause-ish time of our lives, it changes a lot. And my muscles I was having so much more pain in my muscles. It was like your muscles you start losing muscle mass. You start all sorts of things, right? And the pains were getting so bad. And like my legs felt like they were bruised every single day. I could barely walk. I would walk. I didn't notice it all the time because I always try to pretend that I'm fine. So I would like try to walk really fast and I'd pay for it later. Hold on. I don't know if that wind. Okay, I'll just see how this goes with this. This is supposed to be a wind guard, but I don't know how good it does. So hopefully this is okay still. If not, I'm going to have to scrap part of this video and do it all over again. But I hate to do that because I don't have a script. I just think of something like, hey, I want to talk about this. So, I noticed that about myself. I was losing my muscles that I always had. Like I always had really muscular legs and arms partially because of the jobs that I had and that was just the way I was. I don't know, genetics, I guess. But I noticed that it was changing and it was getting harder and harder to manage life. It was getting harder and harder to get up and get out of the house. Like I said, COVID had a lot to do with I can just stay home. And I still didn't always. I mean, I still did some things because we had to go grocery shopping. And even when me and my mother-in-law would go grocery shopping, we'd go have lunch or whatever. Because that was something I did with my mom a lot. And I really enjoyed that. Just having coffee, going to breakfast, to lunch, whatever. And that's like a thing that we do. It was one of the things that I did that was like outside my comfort zone, so to speak. And prior to his moving out here, must have been 2000. It might have been 2017 or 18. During that fall and winter, I was going to the library a lot. And one month when the depression was really high and anxiety was really high, and I just was having a really hard time, I guess. I read 100 books in about a month and a half. Granted, these were like 300-400 page books that were like cozy mysteries, had recipes and stuff in there. There was a series of different types of books similar to that, and I would just go to the library and just pick judging a book by its cover kind of thing. I would. If a color stood out to me, the photo stood out to me, I would give it a try. Most of the time, I was pleasantly surprised that they were great books. Every once in a while, there was one that was like, I don't think I would ever read that again, but I'd give the book a chance and I'd read the whole thing. So I gave up on reading when we moved out here. Like I said, I had my faith-based books, and of course, I read the Bible. I was journaling quite a bit still, which has been a great habit to have. I've really enjoyed journaling, and it really helps. So once I decided to move forward with physical therapy, because I thought, you know what, I need something. I need something where it's easy to learn how to strengthen my body. And I'm in an environment where there's people there that can help me through it. This is building a habit. I went for 9 sessions. And I decided, along with talking to the physical therapist there, one of them, I guess she's like the main one, during the evaluation, that I think I need more. Partially it's just me. It is helping, but part of it is because I need to make this a habit. I need to get to remind myself how good these exercises are for me, even when I'm sore, even when it hurts, because boy, has the arthritis been a royal pain in my back, my neck, but it's usually like right in the middle of my spine, all the way through my lower back to my hips. Those are the areas that I have the worst back pain in. And so that has been pretty high pain, even during physical therapy. The good thing about physical therapy is the heat. Oh, that is wonderful. And they do cupping and everything, which that helps. But I've noticed that my muscles feel better, and I just feel better overall. I still deal with some inflammation, like my hands are right now because of the heat. My feet get swollen, my hands get swollen. So I've got to address that. I'm hoping the turmeric, curcumin, and things like that will help with that. But overall, this has helped me to step out of my comfort zone and get back into physical therapy, because I was so scared, because I used to go to the one in Vegas. But even trying to go back there after like being gone, I was like, I can't do this. Yes, I know who they are. They're really great people, but I can't. But this is a lot closer here. And I'm like, well, I don't know anybody here, but for the most part anyway. But still, it was like, I can't do this. And I finally did it. And it has been one of the greatest decisions I've made recently. Then because of that, I did another first, and I went to Barnes and Noble. That was, it was hard. Like first day that I went there, I was there for like an hour. Most of that hour was looking at books and trying to hide from people because I don't know. It's just it's overwhelming around people. And I think it's just feeling all the energy around me and everything. It's just like, whoa, but I had seen a book that Missy had shared on her channel. And, I think at that time, I don't know if I had gotten that one the first time I came in. I think it was the first like novel that I got. And then I got some other books, like some journals and like Mindful Journal, like different things. And throughout that, I got a book that Tracy from Life in the Wild West talked about in her video, which I'm working through right now, which is the Book of Alchemy, which is like there's short stories in there and prompts to journal with, and it's been really great. So I just love book recommendations like that. And so I've read since my first time I went there, which I can't remember how far back it's been, but it's only been in the last month since I think I went in May once. So it's been like since then, which was like towards the end of May. I've read three of the thrillers that were out of that same author that Missy had shared. It was just The Crash. I think it's Frida McFadden, I think, was the first one. And then I read a couple others by her. Excuse me. And then I read the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. I am on book 4, which is this one here. These are wonderful books. They're such a... I don't even know. They make you think. They make you think about life and the things that matter. And they go, people go back to the past in this book, and they can't change. Nothing they do in the past can change the present. But some go back just to see, I guess, if they said what they needed to say, what would happen, or just to know something, whatever they were grieving over or worrying over or whatever. And it always turns out to be a very great lesson. So those are great books. Like I showed you today, I got The Sandwich, so I'll read that. Or like people say here in New Mexico, a sandwich. Yeah, it's hilarious. You hear that a lot, a sandwich. I don't know, but it's a sandwich. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. So, and then of course, like I said, I had journals and things that I'm doing. And in that process, I'm reading Closer Than Your Last Breath by Susie Larson, which is like a devotional study. It has questions and everything. And I do really enjoy those as as kind of like a journaling companion for just, seeing what is it I'm thinking now, in this season of life and all of that. And then I'm reading through Colossians in the Bible, which is wonderful. I did get a new Bible not too long ago, which is a Spanish English for like bilingual one. I was gonna get just a pure Spanish one because I have the English Bibles, but they had one that was a New King James Version. I think it was like $20 at the Cornerstone bookstore here in Santa Fe, and it has Spanish and English in there. And I thought, hey, perfect. So I'll be working through that. But I just kind of wanted to back to the whole part about not wanting to spend anything on myself for the things that I need. I love buying gifts for other people. I love to do that, and it makes my heart happy and brings me joy to bring someone else joy. But I know that I need to do these things for myself. Like I talked about in another video about buying clothes for myself, because most of my stuff has gotten big or I've gotten smaller. And I have done some of that. Now, granted, I want to go through all my clothes and get rid of a bunch so that I can make room for more, because come fall and winter, I'm going to need some warmer stuff that's going to fit me. So I'm going to have to get rid of a few of my sweatshirts, but not my favorites. I don't care. Those ones I'll just wear at home if they're too big. There's just some that I love the feel of them. But anyway, it's a fear response. It's fear of being selfish, fear of just doing the wrong thing, I guess, fear of getting caught up in just selfishness. I mean, that's the basic idea of that for me. Doing self-care, doing something for myself, like acupuncture, even going to physical therapy, even just going to the bookstore and sitting there. Sometimes all I do is get a coffee, and I usually have a coupon for $1 off a coffee or an iced tea or whatever, and I just take the books that I've already bought, my journals, I take my tablet, and like today I watched Tracy's Live. And it was wonderful being able to sit in this beautiful place, air conditioned, that smells like books and coffee, and have a nice hot coffee and enjoy that live, and then journal some. And if I let myself stop and think about it or overthink it, then I'm selfish. This is selfishness. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing something else, something more productive, something whatever. That's been my mantra for my whole life. Do more. Just do stuff that's productive, whatever that is, and do stuff that I guess that would show productivity quicker. Journaling doesn't do that. Reading books doesn't do that. Sitting at the bookstore doesn't do that. Physical therapy, it does to a point, but not really. It's because it's going to become a habit that I have to do my entire life so that I can strengthen my muscles and lose the rest of the weight that I need to lose. And acupuncture, I mean, maybe I'll go the rest of my life. I don't know, because it's wonderful. I hope I can afford it for the rest of my life. But it's one thing that really, really helps me to relax, because that is, like I've said before, I struggle with that in a big way. And when I go there, sometimes I can, be more quiet experience. Sometimes it's almost like being cat therapy and counseling again. Like we talk through things, but what's going on, so he knows like more, if there's headaches or there's anxiety or there's whatever. And the process of that work through with the acupuncture is wonderful. And, it was a fear of mine to ever try that, or massage or anything like that. I've done that before, but I'm always afraid of it. I'm afraid of, partially, like I said, the selfishness, self-care, selfish, because I don't want to get down that hole, because there is a lot of selfishness in that area. And I don't want to, I'm always afraid I'm going to allow myself to become too prideful, too selfish, but like Margie told me the other day, that is not in your personality. I've known you forever. She's known me since I was 19 and I'm 47. And she's like, that's not in your personality. It's just, you need to stop letting Satan put this fear upon you. And so a lot of these videos will be about that kind of fear and how I'm going to overcome it. So like this whole fear of being out in public in a place where there's books, not just the library, because I even went to the library here, which is an experience as well. And like, I plan on going back. I plan on going to visit the other public libraries here. And like, I decided to stay with physical therapy for 9 more sessions, because I know mentally and physically I needed it, but even more so mentally and emotionally, I needed this thing. I needed something that was going to get me to a place where I could be active, but in a safe space. Because sometimes I think I'll go to the gym. That just seems a little out of my reach at this moment. Now, I would love to go to water aerobics and stuff like that, but that may be in the future. And something Misty was talking about in a recent video, but her going to the gym really got me thinking about that. And, maybe just doing that, or even just going out into nature more and walking around, going to the river and all of that. So I think I'm going to end this video here, because it's already about 30 minutes. But I just kind of wanted to share some about myself and what I'm dealing with. This is like, through this journey to healing, this healing journey, I want to heal from the inside out. And I cannot heal my outsides if I'm not working on my insides, because I can lose all the weight in the world. I can get strong physically. But if I am not careful, I can fall right back into what put me into this position in the first place. So with that being said, I hope that you guys have a wonderful and blessed rest of your day and a great weekend and a great start to summer. And I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you.